Oh, that doesn't even look the same. All right, so everybody's probably noticed by now, Corvettes they're a thing in drifting. They're getting bigger and bigger. Everybody's gonna start buying Corvettes rather than spending a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years building an LS swapped S chassis. Get in a Corvette and go drift. Add angle, hydro, coilovers, and go drift. So a lot of people are figuring that out now, including myself. And with Corvettes getting into drifting, there's gonna be some damage. So today, we're gonna repair some of the fiberglass damage, and I'm gonna show you guys kind of how I'm figuring it out. I've never messed with fiberglass myself. I'm not a body guy. I don't know really, to be honest, anything about it. I bought some fiberglass stuff from Home Depot. I'm gonna show you what I got. I'm gonna show you the damage, and we're gonna see if we can, I'm gonna see if I can fix it. And I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. So here's a look at what we got. Let's start with the bottom here. I got this Bondo fiberglass resin, fiberglass cloth. It seems to be way more than I'm gonna need there. I got a paintbrush, and then I bought this hardener. However, upon opening this, I learned it comes with hardener. So I didn't even need that $7 tube of hardener. This was about, I think it was about 21 to, it was like 21, 24, maybe $25. And then coming over here, this piece on the Corvette is called a wheel, what is it? A wheel house. So this whole piece actually unbolts, and I could just put a new one on and everything would be perfect. I wouldn't have to waste $25. However, the issue with that, these are about $800, the cheapest I could find, and that's not brand new. I have no idea how much they would be brand new, but they're like $800 for one on eBay, which, I mean, it's a deal because you can replace the whole thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and spend the $25 that I already did and fix this for now, just in case it happens in the future, rather than spending $800 on a new one and then hitting it again. Get a little closer here. So with this hole here, this is where I pulled the front bumper down over the front just so I can get into this area a little bit better. This hole here though is where the bracket, let me show you. This bracket goes. So this goes here, and then, what is it? So there's these two studs underneath it, and they're gonna go in each of these fender holes, and then, what was it? The fender goes on top and they bolt into there too. So this is vital that I get that repaired, and just so you can see, we got a good crack here, and then coming down here, pretty soft. So I'm hoping I can take care of all this, get it stiffened back up. We should be good. So for me, since I have no idea what I'm doing, these directions on the back of the resin are actually coming in very handy, very helpful, because I would not know how much resin or hardener to use, and it actually comes with this little tray too, so you can mix it. I was told by a friend too, you want to make sure you don't use too much hardener, because if you use too much hardener, it's gonna harden way too fast, and you're not gonna be able to really play with it. And then also on the back of the container it says mix small amounts rather than mixing like an entire amount for the whole job. Mix small amounts. That way it's not hardening too fast. So I'm just gonna cut some strips out of this, some strips of this cloth out. And I did put gloves on. I know a lot of, I don't know if that has any significance. I just don't want it to be all itchy. This is a pretty big sheet. 46 by 25 inches. Wow, this is gonna be way more than I need. I was worried about it not being enough too. I'm gonna find the end here. There we go. So, damn, this is so much. I'm just gonna cut a patch out and then I guess maybe some strips off of that. These scissors are not cutting this great. Alright, so what I've done, as you can see, is cut out a bunch of small strips because my theory behind this is I have a bunch of cracks, not necessarily holes or, I don't know, chips or whatever. So I'm gonna cut strips to go along the cracks. My theory is I'm not gonna waste a bunch of material. So I can take like this strip, for example, and I'll overlay it out of frame. So there's that crack. Got my strip here, and I'll basically lay it right over the crack. And like this crack down here, lay one along there. Essentially, so I'm not overusing, I mean, I have a ton of it, but figured I'd, use small amounts and kind of build up on it. So now comes the difficult part for me. I'm sure it's not difficult, I'm just overthinking it. Of how much resin to use versus how much hardener. So reading off the back, for a quarter can of resin, use a quarter tube of hardener. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna go with the easiest one. It smells like rubber cement. Or if it's the same thing, basically. So now we're gonna use a quarter of the hardener. I gotta open this. I got a pick here. Because once you take this off, the cap off, sorry it's not really in focus, guys. Hopefully it doesn't spray everywhere. Wouldn't be very cool. There we go. All right, so a quarter of this. I think we're gonna stop there. It seemed like quite a large amount. Now I gotta mix it up real quick. Well, I don't want to contaminate it, but this is the best I can find, is this new bolt. And one thing I read was, make sure you get the bottom corners so you can mix it, so it mixes thoroughly, basically. You want to kind of get that hardener everywhere. This resin's pretty thick. So I already previously cleaned the area. You can sand it. I didn't. I'm gonna see if it still works without sanding it. But I got my setup here. I got my paintbrush. Let's start applying it. I don't really know where to start. I guess I'm gonna start here because that really doesn't move too much. I'm gonna put down some resin without getting it everywhere. And then go ahead and throw some matte down. Really not sure how much to get on there. I think I'm just gonna try to overdo it rather than underdo it. Kind of reminds me of grade school when you'd play with the rubber cement. Getting a little drip here. Place that. Should have flipped it the other way. Definitely don't think I'm using I didn't want to go too heavy on it, but I think think you want to wet this down pretty good. Try to get it to conform to it. I'm getting some drip on my tire right now. I'm gonna have to, getting quite a bit of drip on the tire. So there's the first piece. I'm gonna let that harden up a little bit. So I've gotten a few pieces on here. Kind of looks like shit right now. But I'm gonna put another piece on this crack. Well, actually, I need to clean that up. That's kind of dusty. We're gonna leave that. We'll add a piece to this crack, and then we'll add one up here, and then we're gonna let it sit for a while, harden up. I might have mixed way too much, so that was a little bit less than quarter of the container. So definitely didn't need that much, I don't think. But at the same time, I have no idea what I'm doing, and that's apparent. But I think it's gonna turn out great. As soon as that hardens up and we can cut off the ends there, sand it down. Might not even need to sand it. All right, so I got, as you can see, all right, all but one of the strips I cut out, and I think I cut out about 12 of them. I got them on here. Now that looks like complete garbage, I'll be honest. But I'm gonna let it harden up. We can trim this that's overhanging. We'll snip that shit off. There's some other stuff here we'll cut off. And then right in here, I'm gonna have to drill out or cut something. Like, this is a hole for a bolt to go through. There's enough for the bolt to go through, as you can see, but there's a little overhang that I did on purpose. And then I gotta close up. You can see it with the zip tie there, but I gotta close up the rest of this hole where it's broken. I'm gonna go find something right now to clamp that together. So as it hardens, it stays there, and then I can throw a piece over it. That'll be the last piece. Other than that though, this side, we gotta do the back side still, but this side, I think it's gonna turn out pretty good once all that hardens. Like I said before, I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. I'm kind of just jumping in. So if you have any like tips for me, anything I did completely wrong, which I could have done this whole thing completely wrong, let me know in the comments, because okay, we try that again. Constructive criticism is very welcome. You don't gotta call me a dickhead and tell me I'm an idiot, but maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I'm willing to learn though, and that's what I'm doing here. So hopefully you guys learned something. I'm not gonna film the rest of this because it's, as like you saw that, the rest is self-explanatory. I'm gonna do the same thing for the rest. Yeah, if you guys can teach me anything, tell me what I did wrong. If I did anything wrong, I'm sure I did. If I could do anything better. That hardener is actually starting, the resin and hardener is getting way too tacky to use. So I'm gonna scrape that out of there and clean it out. So that was probably the perfect amount of hardener, I'm assuming, since it lasted about 5 minutes to do this job. But I don't know, it looks like garbage, but I think it's gonna work perfect. So there's that. Thanks for watching, guys.